Alrighty team, this week I want to jump in and talk to you guys just a little bit about, I guess, one of the big lessons we learned from the benchmark, particularly the back squat benchmark. So everyone did amazing. It was a really, really good session. Heaps of solid lifting and a massive increase in terms of technique and depth, which obviously a lot of us have been working on. Now, the big sort of, I guess, elephant in the room was what happened once, the guys and girls that were doing it got close to their 5 rep max, AKA once the sets actually got really heavy. Now, all in all, technique was pretty good, but I think there was probably one big lesson that everyone kind of went through and a little bit of a realization, which was kind of the oh shit moment when they realized what a heavy back squat feels like sitting on their back. Once they unracked that sort of 5 rep max weight, what we then very quickly found was that depth changed, so it wasn't as deep as normal, and there was a wee bit more, I guess you could potentially use the term as like panic. So what tends to happen, and what has happened a lot, is we saw people lining up really solid squats, getting into their position, back squats, coming down to a nice deep squat, and then driving back up. What we saw with the heavy set, or the final set, is that when people unracked that bar for the first time, and they realized what sort of load they had on their back, a lot of the time what happened is their weight already started shifting towards their toes because they had a big heavy weight sitting on their back and they were locking here. And so as they went to descend, because they were already falling forward, technically, we sort of got this occurring where the depth wasn't there anymore, and it was this really fight to stop falling forward. Really, really common position and a common thing. Honestly, it happened across pretty much every session where we did the benchmark. So what we really need to focus on is 2 things to really improve this. Number 1 is creating tension under the barbell from the top. So getting the upper back in a better and a stronger position to make sure that we feel confident under that load. And then the second part is just remembering where we are in space. So even though we've got that heavy barbell on our back, it's still about just starting slightly back in that position so that as we descend down, we can drive our knees forward, ending up with that bar in line with our midfoot, however it's on our back, ending up over that midfoot, and we can still be really balanced in that position. So what I thought I'd do is I'd show you guys what it looks like when I get under a barbell in terms of how I approach it, sort of the time it takes for me to get myself set up, and my ability to kind of create the tension here, so you can kind of get an idea of what it should look like, and then I'll go through a rep here as well. So what we want to do is and we should do this when we're practicing all of our reps. It's not just for the heaviest ones, but it is for all of them across the board. We want to treat every rep as if it's our 5 rep max. That's how we're going to practice and get better as we go forward. So I always take the same grip width. No matter what, my first place where I set is where do my hands go? I know for me, it's just inside the first ring. From there, I'm taking a breath, getting myself in and under the bar. Now I'm pulling my elbows back and down. My goal here from this position is to drive these elbows down to get these lats engaged and to create a platform in my upper back. So once I get in under this one, it'll be a little bit harder to talk. But we're getting in, locking that position in nice and tight. Once I've got that position set, getting my rib cage stacked nicely. This is going to get my core engaged. From here, it's a big breath, and then I'm going to stand up, just driving through my quads. 1 step back, and as you can probably tell from my voice already, just by unloading this, it's very hard for me to talk. I'm locked in nice and tight here, sitting back on my heels ever so slightly, taking that big breath in, squatting, and then resetting at that top position. So it's really important that we create that tension, maintain that tension through that whole rep. And if we're not very similar to that, if our breath doesn't, or like our ability to talk doesn't change when we get under the barbell, we're probably not utilizing that core, this core right effectively, and we can do a lot better there. So the better you can utilize core, upper back, upper body, the more confident you will feel under the barbell. because you will be in control of the weight and the weight won't necessarily be bearing down on you as much as it would if you just had a relaxed grip. So hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of insight. Hopefully the next time you go into a really heavy set, there'll be a little less of that oh shit, because you'll be more confident in creating that tension and getting it good. What you'll find is that with the prescription-based loading, you will eventually get more exposure to heavier loads, because you will just have to work with what that prescription is, as opposed to kind of just going with whatever's on the bar. So I really challenge you guys in this block to work exactly to what the prescriptions are, or a little bit more, depending on how you're feeling. Don't just let yourself get away with whatever's on the bar. Make sure that you guys are actually working, get exposure to heavier loads. The only way to get confident under heavier loads is to just get more practice at it. It's a skill just like anything else. So that's us for the day. If you guys have any questions on this, let me know. You can either shoot me a message here on the Discord, or just ask me in studio. But have a good one, team.